Miss Trish, it's always a pleasure and an honor. You're a great supporter, friend, and partner of the Global Trade Chamber, and specifically the 100 Successful Women events that has taken on a life of its own. So it's people like Trish that are touching women and men in your local and global markets to empower them and help them to be better at what they do. And Chris is the co-founder of the Women's Prosperity Network, a tremendous global organization helping and empowering women that are in business or looking to get into business. So she's done a phenomenal job. Uh, One exciting thing about Trish and her organization is that for years she has been conducting online workshops and seminars. So I think Trish was looking at the future back when she was doing
Mhm.
this a few years ago.
Yeah.
And she has even networking events online, right, Trish?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of opportunities to connect online.
Yeah, so Trish is really a groundbreaker. She's setting the trends always. She is the author of the bestseller, It's Just a Conversation, and how and what to say in business. And of course, she's an international speaker that she's shared the stage with many great people from the Shark Tank, from Chicken Soup for the Soul, and many other great speakers. And works with sales teams, business owners, and other people that want to achieve revolutionary results now. So we're in the middle of a revolution
Certainly
in
are.
business, and thanks to Trish, she's going to help us be very successful as we move forward. Welcome, Trish.
Fabulous. Well, I'm so glad that you are all here. And let me thank Al and Maria Renee, for the invitation, number one, and for what you're doing at the Global Chamber. Like, you are bringing people together with this new technology using Zoom. And right now, things have changed for all of us, and you all pivoted. And now you're out there with the interview series that you're doing about successful people so that we can all learn. And you're bringing us webinars on a regular basis during the week. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And thank you for making me a recipient of the 100 Successful Women, the inaugural group of
That's right.
100 Successful Women. And I'm really honored. And our partnership means a lot to me. So I got my fingers crossed that we're going to be able to do some live events in the near future. But in the meantime, we're all here. So I'm really glad that all of you have joined us today. So what I want to take you through today is, you may have seen the title, and I call it the speaker's advantage. It's how to easily reach the people that you want to reach in any economy, regardless of what's going on in the circumstances in the world. So as we go through this today, for those of you who just joined on, there's a chat available, and we want to encourage you to introduce yourselves to each other in the chat. So you can certainly use this as a quick networking opportunity. And also, if you have questions along the way, feel free to ask questions, and Maria is going to jump in and at appropriate points, and she'll ask those questions if we haven't already gotten to those answers. So go ahead and make sure your chat is open. If you're on the telephone, I'm sorry, you won't have a chat, but if you're on your app, you do have a chat. Just click the 3 buttons on your menu and you'll see the chat option. All right, so let me start by using the chat for the first time and get your fingers a little nimble. So here's what I want to know. I want you to give me a big yes, yes, yes. That's what we say at Women's Prosperity. We say yes, yes, yes. We love yes so much, we say it 3 times. So give me a big yes, yes, yes if you are ready to increase your influence and expand your reach. Let's see it. Yeah, there you go. Maggie and Yolanda, I'm actually going to have to put my glasses on to see. Cynthia, yes, everybody's giving me yes, yes. Keep it going if you want to attract the right customers. Not the tire kickers, but the people who are really right for you. Yes, we all want that. The other thing is, I know that you wouldn't be here otherwise, but if you want to take your business and your life to the next level, keep it up with the yes, yes, yes. Totally. We do. Everything is about growth and moving forward. And then the last thing I want to ask you is, would you like to leverage your time and your talent and increase your bank account? That's a yes, yes, yes also. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here today. We're going to be talking about how you can expand what you're already doing or start doing some of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, because no matter where you are, now is the time. People are concerned that things have changed. We're working from home. For those of us who are not used to working from home, it's concerning. How do I pivot? How do I change? How do I make this work for me? And you all know that there are so many opportunities in now the virtual world. So now is the best time because people are actually paying attention to the content that's out on the internet. So now it's your time to create that content for you and for the people that you want to serve. So everything that we're going to do today is going to make a difference for you, whether you're having a conversation. You know, Al mentioned the name of this is my recent best-selling book, and hopefully you can see it. It's called "It's Just a Conversation," and it's about what to say and how to say it in business. So whether you're having that conversation virtually on Skype or on Zoom or on a webinar, or whether you're having that conversation on the telephone, actually speaking to someone, or whether you're actually creating web pages and emails, the conversation you want to have wants to be influential so that people will be drawn to you. And then once they're drawn to you, you can take the conversation to the next level and have an actual sales conversation so that you can make a difference for people with your products, your services, and your projects, because that's what it's all about. So now is the time. And when I think about who's here on this webinar today, I can just see by the things that you're writing in terms of what you do for a living and how you make a difference. You know, we have a Marriott manager here. We have someone helping for giving free trials on their services. We have Hamed, who is an export sales manager, international industries with Bahrain. I love the Global Chamber because that's what you get is a global coverage. So we're all doing different things. And again, I encourage you to introduce yourself in the chat. And here's the thing. We're all doing different things. And the people I know who are on this webinar right now, some things I know about you. Number one, I know that you are a change agent because right now you're embracing change. Change is happening right now and we could really see it. But the fact is change is always happening. Don't you agree? Like nothing ever stays the same. One of my favorite expressions people say to me is, well, when things settle down, things don't ever settle down. So that's why we need people like you who are embracing change all of the time and being a change agent for other people so that they can see that change is normal. Change creates momentum. Change is a good thing. I also know that you're someone who's making a difference, not just for yourself in your own life, but for the people that you touch. You know, most of us are doing what we do because we care about who we're doing it for. So I know that that's who you are as well. And I also know that you're an action taker doing what it takes because other people right now, let's see, it's a little after, are either watching Ellen or General Hospital. You know, everybody's saying, what are you watching on TV? Most of us are really out there still doing what we do to make the difference that we make. So, you know, I love to think about, I know who you are, but let me share this with you. This is, people always ask me, people I know from my past, people who meet me and haven't seen me in a long time. I met somebody that I knew from, believe it or not, in high school. And you all know this because it happens to all of us all the time. In fact, this is me back then. Now I know I look totally exactly the same as I did then, right? It's funny, we all think we look the same and then people look at the picture and they go, that's you? Yeah, that was me. And who knew back then that just by taking a small step and then another small step and another small step, I would end up having the life that I'm leading now, which is I'm a 3-time best-selling author. One of them is a #1 bestseller. I train and certify speakers professionally all over the world. Recently, I was in Europe training people to be the best speakers they can be. I've founded a global community with my 2 sisters. Yes, real blood sisters. So how great is that? Sisters I love to be around. Now, who better to create a sisterhood for others than sisters who love each other? And I've been a corporate 100 trainer. I work with executives. I'm a very lucky girl, a very lucky girl. And one of the things that I know is that it's really important to have great communication skills, because when it comes to making the difference that we want to make, the thing is, there's a foundational concept in sales and marketing that I want to start off with before we get into anything else. And that is the concept of having your services and your products created in such a way that no matter when you meet people, where you meet people, you're ready to serve them at any level. So if you meet someone, let's say in a networking meeting, and I'm looking at my screen over here, you can all see my screen, yes? Yes, I think you can. If you're at a networking meeting and you meet someone that we label a prospect, these are the terms we use. I hope you don't mind me using 4-letter words today like sales and prospecting and target market and things like that. To some people, those are uncomfortable terms, yet they're just terms that we use to label things. So we're talking about when you meet somebody for the first time, the way you get to increase the know, like, and trust factor, which is key to any business relationship, is you get them to learn more about you. So you want to have something free. Oftentimes we have what's called an opt-in on your website. Hey, get your free gift here. In fact, I know some of you have made a note of yours in the chat, and I invite you to do that. If you have some way to get people to know you more, it increases the likability, increases the trust. And then, of course, those people like you enough that they're willing to make a purchase. So depending on how much they know, like, and trust you, they'll make a purchase at $1 that's comfortable with the value that you've shown them that is possible. So it's important for us to know how well we're doing in those conversations. When I speak to 100 people, how many of them actually buy, right? So, and you can actually track it. And here's what can happen. If you were to sell 10% of the people that you speak to, here's some just general numbers. Let's say you have 500 people in your database or business cards on your desk. We all have 500 people in our phones, don't we? At least 250. So if you were to engage with those people at the first level, and 10% of them said, yeah, I want to know more about you. I like you. I want to buy whatever your first thing is. Let's say it's something around $100. At the lower level, that's probably what you're going to offer. So 10% of 500 is 50. So 50 of them go to your $97 product for $4,850. 10% of them think you're amazing and they have to have the next thing. They might even want to have the thing after that, depending on how good you were at really delivering and working from the heart and doing what matters to your client. So ultimately, at a 10% closing ratio, you can earn, in general, around $12,000 using these numbers. Now, you all have different numbers for your businesses and your products and services. I get that. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what 10% of the people you talk to become your client. That's the amount of money you're talking about. Now, let me show you what happens. I want you to just think about if I were to increase my closing rate from 10 to 20%, if I were to double it, how much would that 12,000 turn into? Some of you may be shocked to know that these are the numbers now, and the total becomes not twice, but almost 4 times, almost 4 times what you have before, just by increasing your sales from 10% to 20%. So would it be worth it to learn how to increase your sales opportunity and convert 20% rather than 10? And my goal, whenever I work with people on communication and speaking, again, whether that speaking is face-to-face, on the phone, on the stage, on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live, on a web, doesn't matter, in writing, you want to have, in my mind, 30% or better. You can do 30% or better. And that's really what I'd like to talk with you about today. Because, you know, one of the things I know, and I learn from smart people. Oh, I didn't give you the total number, did I? I did give you the total number. Think about if that's 5,000 people in your database. 5,000 people in your database, those numbers the first time work out to around 200,000. But if you increase to 20%, it works out to a lot more money, 800,000. So for those of you who have big businesses with lots of people that you're working with, you have the opportunity if you increase your ratio. You know, really smart people. And one of those people who, a quote I love is by billionaire Warren Buffett. And you've heard of him. He's one of the richest men in the world. He runs Berkshire Hathaway. And he says that you can increase your net worth and your worth by more than 50% simply by honing your communication skills. Simply by honing your communication skills, you can get better and make more money than you've ever had before. And that's why communication is so important. You know, I live by 3 tenets, 3 principles. The first one is that people say, follow your dreams, do what you love, and the money will follow. Well, that's true to a certain degree. It's do what you love, get really, really good at it, and then the money follows, right? You can't, as much as I believe in the law of attraction and the secret movie and all of those types of things, you can't sit in the lotus position and just ohm your way to success, right? You've got to get really, really good at it. So that's the first principle, is get good at everything you want to do in life, and you will have the money that will give you the opportunity to make the difference you want to make. The second thing is that the most important thing in life are not things. The most important thing in life are people, because everything comes through other people. The Uber driver is somebody who's giving me a ride. The products and services I buy come through other people. Maybe peace of mind is the only thing that comes from inside, but even then that's controlled at times by other people. And here's what I know. I know that the more people you serve, the more successful you are. The more people you serve, the more successful you are. And what better way to serve more people than to speak to groups? Because when you speak to groups, you have lots of opportunity to make the difference that you're meant to make. Now, I know for some of you, when I say the words speak to groups, you feel like this, you know, Kevin from Home Alone, oh no, right? But here's the thing, overcoming those nerves and jitters is easy once you have some systems. So first thing is make sure you're using the power of visualization, using the power of breathing and making sure the breathing is going through your body, because what's happening is just energy in your body. The other thing is to have a preparation system that makes you feel confident and comfortable that what you're doing is going to make the difference that you want it to make. Preparation is key, right? We've all heard that, you know, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's the same thing. So I'm going to share with you a formula today that you can use over and over and over again in your preparation so that you're really good at it. And I'll tell you, I've been very lucky to work with people who make a difference, who have used the formula. I want to, for example, this is Mary Dominguez. Some of you may know Mary, especially if you're around the Women's Prosperity Network community. But Mary was a school teacher, and she could see what was happening for parents and kids in terms of their communication, and she wanted to make a difference there. So she actually was ready to leave the school teaching business, but she was afraid to speak to adults when she stood in front of a room. She did fine on parent-teacher night, but she was afraid to speak to adults. Well, here's what happened for Mary. She put her effort and energy into getting really good at speaking, and she worked through those nerves. And as a client, I was able to help her really achieve what she wanted to achieve. Now her full-time job is working with students and parents so that they bridge the communication gap. She's a published author, and she's absolutely confident in front of a crowd. So I even have this is a Facebook post from Mary that really warms my heart, because this is the group of teens and parents that she recently worked with back in February. And she is transforming the lives of these people. And now forget about it. Mary's like, give me the microphone. I want the microphone. And it's all because she has a formula that she can use. And we call it the presentation profitizer formula. And I'm going to take you through that today so that you know the formula, so you can be prepared and you can work through it. And again, this formula is for every type of communication. I'm couching it around speaking to groups, but here's the thing, you're speaking to groups all the time and you don't realize it. When you're putting your posts on Facebook, guess what? You're speaking to groups. When you write an article for LinkedIn, you're speaking to groups. So this is communication that you'll use over and over again. Now, think about it. Why speak to groups? Again, especially for those of us who are like, oh no, I'm afraid. There's a lot of reasons. One good reason is obviously to leverage your time. Why speak to one person when you can speak to 100 in the same amount of time? I only get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? As soon as I know how to get 8, I'll let you know, but I don't know how to do that yet. The other thing is you actually establish a premium position in whatever market you're in. You become the expert. You know it as well as I do. When you see a speaker, wow, they must know something. They must be somebody. I'm going to ask them a question. The other thing is you get to be remembered. People will remember you way more than if you just sat next to them, excuse me, at a networking meeting. You're going to create better connections. You're also going to have the opportunity to create raving fans and a tribe. You boost your own confidence every single time. You get better and better in every presentation, every conversation. And the other good thing is you get to create products from what you say in terms of being on the stage or being videoed. You create products that you can use over and over again. So that's great because you can sell your stuff, and you can sell your stuff from the stage. Now you might be thinking, sell your stuff. Well, I don't have books and I don't have videos and I don't have any of those things. It's really easy to create audios. It's really easy to create simple ebooks, tip sheets, quizzes, simple things that engage your client, and you can sell those things. And when you sell those things, you make a difference. And I'm actually talking about selling those things standing on the stage or standing in your home on your video. There's no reason you can't invite people to meet you at the next level, whatever that next level is, whether it's $10, $90, or $290. So the other thing about being able to reach those people is you really can make the difference that you want to make. And this presentation profitizer formula that I'm going to share with you, that I have shared with hundreds, thousands of people who are using it all over the world successfully to increase their business in any economy, is for every type of business. For example, Mary Kay reps, inspirational speakers, graphic designers, realtors, hypnotists, life coaches, people in insurance and financial services, attorneys, hotel managers. It doesn't really matter. It's for every type of business. So go ahead and get a pen and paper now, and let me bring you through the presentation profitizer formula. And I'm going to go ahead and use slides so that you get a visual of this as well. All right. So here's the formula. And it really is an easy step-by-step formula. The first thing I'm going to share with you is it's based on the same formula that you work with in high school, in college, at Toastmasters. You know, you have your opening where you tell them what you're going to tell them, just like I did today. I'm going to share with you the presentation profitizer formula, right? Then you have the body of what it is you want to talk about. And then you have a recap where you tell them what you told them. You've all heard this before, but there's a little bit of a nuance because this is a dance with your audience. This is a choreography, if you will. When you speak to groups of people, you got to be able to maintain their attention, number one. So you got to bring that energy. Number two, you've got to make sure that you're touching them emotionally as well as in their heads, because people buy from emotion and they back it up with logic. So it's really important that when you do your opening, you're creating rapport and credibility. It's not just about telling them what you're going to tell them. It's about creating rapport and credibility. Then when you do the body or the content, which is where people get so caught up, oh, how do I remember what I'm going to say? What order am I? It's so caught up in that that we miss the point. The point is to share how you make a difference. And to do that, it takes, for instances, examples, stories, testimonials of clients and people that you've worked with and the difference you've made for them. And then the recap is really not just about saying, in conclusion, now you understand. It's not about that. It's about recapping the value that people have gotten from the time that you've had together. And in that conclusion, inviting them to the next step, whether that next step is to go to my website and get your free gift, or say yes to this workshop that I've been telling you about. Whatever it is, that's an invitation, and that's often missing. So let me give you an example. This is Tammy Patzer. Tammy has been to the Business of Speaking program, which is a 2-day program we do in person, and now we're doing it online as well. And Tammy's been to the program several times, because if you are someone who's on a mission to get really, really good, then you know that the first time you don't get it all. So we make it easy for you to come back and learn again and learn again. In fact, some of the people here today with us were on our 6-hour online workshop that we did at the beginning of April. And they're going to pick up new things that they didn't get the first time around. So Tammy does PR for a living. And what she wanted to do was support business owners by creating books, interviews, multiple exposures for them. So we taught her how to engage in writing and how to engage from the stage. And because she's someone who takes action, she put it into action. And now, in a short period of time, she tripled her revenue after putting in the communications that she learned and using the Profitizer formula. And that's a picture of her at the NASDAQ in Times Square. You know how they have the Jumbotron in Times Square? That was her business on the Jumbotron. Like, she's really taken off. So you can have a bigger reach. So let me go into the steps. The first step when you're working on putting together a conversation, and I love to use that word because that's what it is. When you're having a conversation with your audience, you want to remember that the thing that has to be present right away is the WIIFM. You all know this radio station. It's what's in it for me. What's in it for me? And you want to get really clear when you have your main topic as, what I want them to learn is blank, and the benefit of learning this is. So what I want you to learn is that using a repeatable formula makes it easy for you to do presentations. And the benefit of learning it is you're going to be able to expand your reach. Doesn't matter what the economy is, and you're going to be able to make the big difference that you want to make. So you've got to be clear on that when you first start this conversation. Again, whether it's an email, a web page, a speech, doesn't matter. Step 2 is getting clear on who am I speaking to? Who's in my ideal market? Now, many of us know clearly who our ideal market is, but some of us don't. But you've got to get really clear on it, because you've got to get clear on what they're going through. So you want to ask yourself these questions, and you'll want to jot these down because they're key. In fact, I'm going to give you an easy way for you to get all of this. I have a website I'll give you in a little while where you can go and get a written copy of the presentation Profitizer so that you have it. But there's something that happens when you take notes, it gets ingrained even more. So you want to ask yourself, who is my product, my service, my project? Who is it for? And who can I best serve? Who can I best serve? Because here's the thing. So many of us think we know who we're dealing with. I'll tell you, there's a company out there that does skincare, and you ask them, who's your ideal market? And the answer is anybody with skin. Well, you're going to go broke trying to marketing to everybody with skin, right? So you got to get clear. Some people say, my target market is moms. There's all different kinds of moms. You got your single mom who's handling everything, and how you communicate with her might be different than how you communicate with the mom who stays at home with their kids. It might be different from the woman who's in a married relationship, who's an executive, who's got a couple of kids, bringing them to daycare. And it's different than the mom who works at home with the baby on her lap. It's also different for this mom who's in what we call the sandwich generation, who's taking care of her aging parents while she's taking care of her children. So get clear on your target market, your ideal market, who it is you want to talk to. And then once you know who that is, you want to go to the ideal market. You want to ask yourself these questions. Who is this for? What are they experiencing now? What are they experiencing? So right now, ask yourself, what are my people experiencing considering what's happening in their world today? And then get clear. What are their problems? What are their challenges? What are their desires? What do they want that I can give them? What do they want that I can give them? Because the key is you want to be able to know what's happening for them. As you articulate your message, you're using the words they say to themselves. So you could say, do you want to lose weight? And they might be saying that to themselves. Let's say you're a weight loss expert. But more likely they're saying, if I could just get back in my skinny jeans, or if I could just walk in my closet and know that everything fits. That's what they're saying to themselves. You could ask them, do you want more confidence? But that's not what they're saying to themselves. What they're saying to themselves is, I wish that I could stand up and speak my mind when people hurt my feelings. I really want to be able to feel good when I open my mouth. That's confidence. So think about, what are they saying to themselves? What do they want? What are their problems? What are their problems, and how do they articulate those problems? And then what do they want that you can give them goes to their desires and their problems. And it's not the same for everyone, which is why you need to understand your ideal market. Number 3 is your next steps. Your next steps. What do you want them to do as a result of reading your email, going to your website, hearing your Facebook Live, listening to you speak on the stage? What do you want them to do? Here's an example of mostly the things that we want them to do. We want them usually to buy a product or service. We want them to be convinced of our perspective, because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, your job in communication influentially is to change people's minds. Everybody already has an opinion about what you do, what you sell, how you serve, and it's not always your opinion. So your job is to learn how to change people's minds in a way that they feel good, that you influence them in a way that they feel like you care about them. Most of the time, your next step is all of these things. So once you have the with them and you know what's in it for them and what they'll learn, once you know the ideal market and who it's for and what their problems and desires are, and once you know the next steps, only then can you go to the 4th step. And that's where most people start, is what am I going to talk about? What's the content? And here's the thing, when you put your content with this proven formula of creating rapport, of grabbing people's attention, of keeping their attention, you're going to see the revenue and the results that you want. Because the formula allows you to actually engage the right people. And let me give you a perfect example. Gladys Diaz is an awesome speaker. If you would see Gladys speak, she speaks on relationships. Her goal in life is to help you find the relationship of your dreams, even if that person is waking up next to you every day and they're no longer the relationship of your dreams, or if you're looking for someone in your life. And she was speaking really all over all the time, but she wasn't converting people to say, yes, I'll open my purse for you. Yes, I'll go in my wallet for you. I absolutely have to have what you want. In fact, the week before she started working with me at a workshop, she flew to California on her own dime, spoke on the stage, paid for her hotel, paid for everything, and she made 0 sales. zero sales. She had a lot of people saying, Gladys, great talk. You were so good. It was so interesting. You kept my attention, but nobody bought anything. And in my world, that's not a good talk. Unless I'm making people move to the next level, I'm not doing what I'm here to do. Because information gets you nowhere. Transformation gets you everywhere. And my goal is transformation for people. So Gladys was not converting. She came to the workshop, and at that time we did a 3-day workshop. This was a couple of years ago now. And at the training, she created this 3-day program. And in the program, at the workshop, she practiced closing, just closing 5 minutes, the workshop. She sold over $1,000 to the people who were in her workshop. And in the next 30 days, with that product that she created in the classroom, she made 10 grand. Now, here's the really good news. Since then, and I'm thinking it's 3 years, she's made over $350,000 with that program because now she knows how to motivate and move people to action. So the opportunities are everywhere. The opportunities are everywhere. And if you think about what's going on right now, the opportunities don't have to be in person on a stage. The opportunities can be, like I said, on Facebook Live, Instagram Live. In fact, jot down in the chat some of the ways that you are staying connected virtually with people. Because I know the regular ones, you know, I have them jotted down here. Instagram Live, networking Zooms, guests on podcasts, radio shows, Zoom meetings like this one, doing your own webinars, your own Zooms. And then here's a good idea that I don't know all of you are capitalizing on. Think about companies that you have worked with as clients or companies you may do business with who right now all of their people are working at home. What better way for you to add value to them than having a Zoom like this where you speak to their employees, bringing their employees together to learn something valuable to you, something valuable in their life, and it increases their employee morale, it brings the team together, it makes the boss look good. So reach out to those companies because you can make a difference for them. And then in the opportunities to actually get out there, networking groups, keynote speakers for companies and corporations, multi-speaker events, associations are always looking for speakers, colleges, churches, libraries, synagogues, be a youth speaker. And of course, your own workshops, seminars, boot camps. I've been a guest MC at charity events and at business events, and I create so much connection there. There's the Rotary, the Chamber of Commerce. So there's no reason for you not to be able to get opportunities. So let me check in with Maria and see, were there any questions, Maria, that came up that we want to get into before
So far,
we move on?
we have the welcome, hello, but
I
not a
didn't
specific
see
question.
any. I was looking. Okay, good. I was looking. Again, if anything comes up, feel free to use the chat. Feel free to use the chat. But it's not just about, you know, it is about making a difference. But I want you to know that you can actually earn money while you're speaking from the stage. I had a friend who he said, whenever I give a talk, whether it's 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour, I always leave with gas money. And I always think about that because you want to at least cover your costs, right? Now you can speak and you can do free consults. And I realize that most of you who are in insurance and financial services can't sell something right away because you have all kinds of rules about what you do. But even if you're an attorney, you can sell your tip sheet. Your intellectual property is always for sale. And here's the thing, even if you're selling it for $10, small commitments lead to big commitments. When I spend $10 with you, first of all, I stop shopping. You are now my go-to person. And when I spend $10 with you, I'm more likely to spend 20, 40, 50, 100 because I've made that first investment. So let me give you an idea of what it is you can earn based on speaking to groups. So let's say you speak at a networking group, and I'm doing this on the chart so you can see the numbers. If you had a $50 product. Let's say it was a book. It doesn't even have to be your book, by the way. You can buy books at half price and sell them for full price and just combine it with a one-on-one consultation with you, which you normally would charge a lot of money for, but you offer it here at a lower price. Or it could be a one-on-one consultation and a tip sheet that gives the 10 ways to dressing better if you're a professional image person. So let's say you're speaking at this networking group, and the average networking group is 30 people. I think we'd all agree in person we get 30 people. I know there's more than 30 people right here today. So if you sell 10% of that group, it's $150, and it's 3 people that you've made a difference for. If you sell 20%, it's 300, and if you sell 30%, it's 450. Now, if you were to do that every week and were to get yourself to really be good, 30% or better, the people who are in the room always want to connect with me and open their purse for me, then you would make $1,800 in a month. Anybody here want $1,800? It's $600 more than the government is giving us right now in disaster relief, right? So we can all use that extra cash. Now this is Sheila Skolnick, and I love her story. She was a paid speaker. She's created businesses, sold them, made millions of dollars, and she shows other people how to do it. She lives in New York on Long Island. And Sheila was getting paid, but things changed in the market and she was harder and harder to get paid speaking gigs. So she came and learned the Profitizer formula, and we worked together and created a speech that would really turn that around. And she would offer people to work with her at a low level, like $50. So she spoke the first time at a local networking group, and she sold 75% of the room and walked out with $1,222. Not to mention all the people who continued to want to work with her beyond that. So that's what's possible. Now, if you take it up a notch and you get really good at this and you get an opportunity for a 60-minute to a 90-minute keynote, and all of you have been at conferences where people offer things for $2,500 or $3,000, even up to $5,000, yes? Give me a yes on that in the chat, because I know we all have experienced that. The average room there is usually over 100, but let's be conservative and call it 50. You sell 10%, that's the cash you're looking at, somewhere between 2,500 and 25,000. 20% is $5,000 to 50 grand. And if you sell 30%, you're walking away with a nice payday and all new people in your funnel that you're now able to serve at the next level. And by the way, you're making a bigger difference for more people than you ever have before. Now, there's a good news, bad news. The people who invite you usually gets a piece, because I'm sure Al and Maria Renee would agree that getting people to show up is the hardest job of all. Yeah. I could stand on a stage, absolutely. But right? That's what takes time. You put a lot of effort and energy. How many months in advance do you even start working to invite people, Al and Maria? Months, right?
Months in advance. And even that, the percentage of show up is low.
Exactly. The percentage,
especially in South Florida.
Yeah, especially. And it's true all over, and here in South Florida, yes. But here's the good news. Even 50%, which is usually what the split is, 50-50, if you do this just 3 times a year, that's how much money you can add to your bank account, and that's how many more people that you're going to serve. So
I'm sorry to interrupt, Trish.
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask Morella to turn the video off. Remember that we are recording this presentation.
Okay.
Probably she cannot see the chat, but definitely she can hear.
Yeah, her video. Maria, that's Morella Vincenzo. Hi, honey. Nice to see you. And we can see you walking or whatever it is you're doing. So go ahead and just make sure you hit stop video so it's not so distracting for others.
And if I'm not mistaken, also Virgil de Souza.
Okay, Virgil also, if you would be kind enough to hit your stop video while you're moving around. Thank you for that. Thank you for your eyeballs on that. And then here's the other thing. For those of you who do want to get paid to speak, we also offer certifications for people who, once they go through the Profitizer formula, they get a certification that says, I am a professional speaker and I'm certified. This is Ellen McDowell, who's a social media expert. Because she got a certification, they hired her and gave her a paycheck. So it's worth it to continue learning this skill. Now, it's also worth it in the long run, because while you can earn $1,200 at a networking meeting if you were to speak tomorrow, let's look at the long term. So I was speaking at an event where there were 35 people in the room, and I was able to create relationships. I use the term closed, but really for me, it's opening a relationship. I was able to close and open a relationship with 28% of those people after that 1 hour presentation. Now that was great. Now I had 10 sales. My product offering was almost $1,000. And after an hour, I was able to get almost 30% of them to see the value of saying, yes, I want that. And so 10 sales came up to almost 10 grand. Now I did do a 50-50 split with the promoter. So instead of 10, I had 5, but it's 5 more than I would have had if I didn't work with that promoter. Now here's the key. 2 of those people who bought later invested more than $25,000 with me. And these are people who I've been working with now for over 2 years. The total revenues of that speech is $30,000. So I want you to start thinking bigger than what can I make on the stage. This is actually a stream of revenue for your business. That's what we're talking about. So here's a website. Go ahead and jot this down. And if you don't mind putting it in the chat, Maria, that would be awesome. If
Yes,
you go
definitely.
to speakingforfunandprofit.com, speakingforfunandprofit.com, you will get the Profitizer formula in a written document so that you can have it, so that you can use it. And start converting more, start adding an offer. And also, please feel free to connect with the community at womensprosperityNetwork.com. And you can also reach me at emails at trish@womensprosperityNetwork.com. So go to Speaking for Fun and Profit, and you will have that Profitizer formula. Now, the thing is, we've had this conversation. I want to open it up for questions in a minute. And I really am not joking. This can change your business and change your life. And the time is now, because people are paying attention now to content more than they ever have before. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you from doing a 1-minute Facebook Live? What, your fear? You know, Einstein said the definition of insanity. You all know it, right? What's the definition of insanity? Yeah, doing the same thing over and over again. And Al, expecting different results, right?
Yes, we do that every day.
Yeah, you read it the other day. So if you continue to do what you're doing, nothing's changing. But don't let fear stop you. I have a client who's a tax preparer, and she was getting calls for interviews, and she was scared to death to do interviews on the radio, on TV. TV is a whole nother story, but even do Facebook Lives. So she did the 2-day workshop, which I'm mentioning, is available online. And when you go to WPN.com or womensprosperityNetwork.com, you'll see we're doing that. And we also do one-on-ones and all kinds of different kinds of mentoring around communication. But she was like, when it was her turn in the workshop to get up and practice for 2 minutes, she was shaking. And since the workshop in January, she's done a webinar with over 1,000 people on it and 30 radio shows. And she never could have done that without the preparation that she got from the Profitizer. So we've talked about how much you can earn, where to speak. You now have a formula to start with as a foundation so that you build rapport, you create energy, and you invite people to next steps. So
okay. Trish, I have a question for you.
Okay.
It says only for women, or men are also
No,
welcome?
thank you so much for asking. Women's Prosperity Network, while it is for women, we work with men in all of our skill building workshops, all of our mentoring programs. We have one event that we do that we keep to the women only because we don't want you to know everything we talk about. And that's a monthly.
Have that edge.
Yes. I actually, one time when we first started back in 2008, one of our friends, a man, came dressed in drag as a joke so he could get into that event. It was
I won't
great.
do that, Trish.
No, I know you won't. That wouldn't be your thing, Al. Yeah, the only thing that we keep to women only is once a month, locally in person, and right now we're doing it online on the second Saturday, is a mastermind around a topic that matters to all of us. Next month, we're talking about emotional intelligence and how that can support you in every relationship, business, and personal. So it's for women and for men. So make sure that you go again to speakingforfunandprofit.com. You can get your free copy again of the Profitizer. Let me again share my screen one more time so that you can see that. And then I encourage you, feel free to reach out to me, Trish at womensprosperityNetwork.com. And then check out all the resources at Women's Prosperity and be sure you're plugging into the Global Chamber as well. Because right now the Chamber is offering so many opportunities for virtual connections, as are we at Women's Prosperity. In fact, yesterday I did 2 sessions of online networking where you get to meet about 15 people in a very short period of time. So the Chamber is doing things to get people connected as well. So I invite you.
On a global scale, which is so important today because people do want to offer their products or services to other people around the world. Everybody can use your coaching, Trish. It's not just the local or U.S. Anybody around the world can benefit from your services.
Correct.
Same as accounting, sales, marketing.
Yeah.
There are products that people don't know that other people in other countries need. Look at all the gloves and all the masks. People around the world are sending information on where to purchase masks. I mean, who would have thought of that before this whole thing happened? So we are a global economy now.
Yeah.
We need to think that 90% of the world's consumers are outside of the U.S.
Exactly. And even think about this. My favorite expression is get outside your own zip code. Because even if you're not interested in being outside the country, if something happens in your community, for example, we're in South Florida, if there's a hurricane, everybody's out of business for the next month.
Yes.
But if you have clients in Georgia, California, Texas, then you can keep working. We have a chapter in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and 2 years ago they had worse than Katrina floods. And for 4 months, most people had no business unless they had business outside of Baton Rouge. So just think about that. So we want to connect you to other people and help you maximize those relationships. So be sure to go to womensprosperityNetwork.com, learn more. And again, definitely plug in with the Global Chamber. You're in really good hands.
Thank you so much, Trish.
Trish,
And
you're
actually,
amazing.
we have also Rory Lee saying thank you, great information. Thank you, Steve. And everybody, I believe, is happy with this presentation. Remember that we're gonna also post this webinar on our YouTube channel, the Global Trade Chamber TV. So in case you miss some of the parts that Trish was, during the presentation, she was explaining you something specific and you wanna hear that or see the video again, we're gonna post it on YouTube next week. We're gonna also be sharing the links that Trish shared with us today. After this event,
Yes.
You're gonna also receive an email with all the information that you need to know to see the video again with the links and additional information.
Awesome.
We also have several opportunities for business people, entrepreneurs. There's so many people, Trish, out there without work that this is a perfect opportunity for them to explore starting their own business or consulting. So we have a massive opportunity to help these people. They don't know how to start a business. They don't have the basic tools. So at the Global Trade Chamber, we do have many tools to help you start a business. We've been doing this for over 12 years. And we have virtual offices. We also have the presenter packages where you can do your own webinar. And we have the success series, which Trish will be featured in one of the future success series on our TV program. So we are with the best people. If you see Trish, you see the best of the best. And this is the type of people that we associate with, but also that need to give you information that really is going to make a difference, not just selling you something, because that's, like Trish said, it's not about a product, it's how you're helping people.
Right. Yeah, somebody was asking about the website for the Global Trade Chamber. Is globaltradechamber.com. And right now our website is being updated, but it's still active. So you want to check the services that we provide, visit our website, www.globaltradechamber.com.
And the phone
And
number.
I put
And
that
the
in
phone
the
number,
chat.
if you want to contact us, is 954-839-8866. And last but not least, remember that we're going to have this presentation in our YouTube channel, the Global Trade Chamber TV.
And let me give everybody a tip, because you've all introduced yourself in the chat. You can save the chat so that you can go back and make these connections with people. All you have to do is click on the 3 dots to the right in the chat box, and you'll see Save Chat, hopefully. No, maybe you
Today
can't.
we were also learning how to use Zoom better,
Zoom,
thanks
yeah.
to Trish.
Yes, thank you to Trish. She's a great coach in many
Yeah, we've
areas
been
that we don't
using
even
Zoom
know.
for a really long time.
Not that long. You're not that long around. Maybe 10, 15 years. Trish started when she
Yeah.
was
Yeah, we've
young
been
and she
using
hasn't
it.
stopped. This is her passion, and you can feel it, Trish. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you. I appreciate
awesome.
you more than I could say. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Appreciate all of you. Go out there and make the difference you're meant to make in a bigger way.
Amen. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Trish.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone.
And thank everybody for joining this wonderful presentation presented by Trish Carr. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you.